When Orkney farmer Malcolm McCrae was handed the keys to a 17th century property he never dreamt of inheriting, he needed to think fast in order to keep Skaill House and its 5,000-acre estate from falling into wreck and ruin.
I could just tell this is a house with a lot of stories.
Having been left vacant for 19 years, this 400-year-old property had certainly seen better days. Riddled with damp and covered in mould, Malcolm put his heart and soul into bringing this dilapidated house back from the brink. And what he's achieved is truly breathtaking.
Very grand out here.
Yeah, it's a lovely hall, isn't it?
Yes. These period features are just such a treat to have them.
Yeah, but there's a lot of work went into getting it back to look like this.
Malcolm decided to open the historic property to the public and employed the skills of local craftsmen to return the dilapidated house to its former glory. And in the early days of the renovation, Malcolm documented the scale of the task on video.
The whole of that wall was literally turning green.
Oh.
And in the doorway, it was black with mould.
Oh, awful.
And I had buckets on the floor here catching drips. When I saw it all stripped, I thought, they're never going to get it back looking as it was. But it's exactly as it was.
The house has had many custodians over its 400-year lifetime, but when it was built in 1620 by the then Bishop of Orkney, he chose an unusual spot to lay its foundations.
Well, we had to put drains in around the outside of the house. And there was a phone call to say they found a body at Skaill.
A human body?
Human body. And,
here?
Yep. We had archaeologists here for 2 weeks.
Amazing.
And they found 15 graves around the side of the house. And they're all early Christian. So if you think the Bishop of Orkney, who built this house in 1620, built the house on top of a graveyard, I find quite extraordinary.
There must have been times when you thought it was all getting a bit too much.
I think there was a time when you suddenly thought, I'll just close the door and throw the key away. I don't think I was left it to leave it to go to rack and ruin.
A labour of love it's certainly been, and a huge financial burden on Malcolm, who'd originally returned to Orkney to take over his father's farm.
I dread to think of the expense over the decades for getting all these repairs and all the things that have needed done in this house.
I know, I haven't tried to add it up.
No, don't give me a figure. Yeah, I can imagine. It's a big one.
Yeah.
And is it that love for Orkney that just keeps going? Because you could pass this on, you know, you want to keep it, don't you?
Well, my plan is to pass it on to the next generation.
Yes.
My eldest is Katie, my daughter, and you know, she's already involved with the house, and she's willing to take it on.
It's been over 20 years since Malcolm first learned that a mysterious relative had picked him to be the custodian of this amazing estate. And not only has Malcolm returned it to its former glory, he's made it a thriving family business, ready for his daughter to inherit next.
It's a joy to see you've managed to keep the house and all the history as well.
Absolutely. I think when we set the house up to open it to the public, it was very much as it was when I found it. So as a family home, and I think that was important to portray that.
And have you ever had it valued?
Well, I think in 1991 it was valued at something like 200,000. Obviously now, you know, with all the work that we've done on it and being run as a business, it's worth, you know, a considerable amount more than that. But it's not about the value of it, because I'm never going to sell it. Hopefully I've done it justice.